Let's start with a new flowchart project. And here we use the selected type, adding an activity sheet that will contain a simple action. Double-click on it. I can add a description. And more important, a print statement. And that's it. Start it and you see the result on the console. We also see some other information, so let's make it better creating our own console. I stop first that and I click on the CSL button to create a console which will only be visible outside of this editor. I click on the Add button and now I choose a console with an identifier where I will write something like my console. And then I choose a foreground color. I can choose here or there, anywhere. I just select one color here, this one for example. Okay. And the background color too. I can just pick up this one or this one. And okay. And now it's done. Okay. Once again, okay. And my console is there. So now I will change my statement, print to this console, and when it's done, I click OK. So now I will save my project under hello 0. Okay, and now I will export it this way and select here, export, and it's done. You can see hello 0 was created by the save, and this one was created by the export. I will just pick up my shell, run it, and I get beautiful console colors with hello world within. So now let's create a CLApp project where we give a name, hello, give a name to the file that will contain the project, also hello, and then we can add some CLApp elements. You have a list here, and you have a facility, a grep, that lets you create the whole structure from the topmost until the cell, which is the leaf, where you will find a so-called execution domain where your statement can be written. So let's write print hello world. The CLApp structure looks always like this. At the top level we have a root called meta scenario, which may contain several scenarios. In our case, only one. There, I have to declare at least one queue. Let's call it so. And a task executor. Working on that queue. At last, I declare a binary logic. And I go to the heap element to declare that the underlying cell should be loaded on that queue with initial activity level 1, meaning it will be active and thus executable from the beginning on. Run it, and we see the result. By the way, we also see some other information, and we want to have a dedicated console for our own output. So let's go to the root element and click on this CSL button to declare a standard console first here. That way we can also say it's a log console, meaning all output will be prefixed with a timestamp. Then we declare foreground and background colors. Okay, when it's done, and another one, my own console with an identifier here. Let's call it CSL this time, and foreground I choose here. Okay, and background, let's say just this one. Okay, and now it's finished. I see 2 elements, and if I run that, first I have to say print to CSL, and now I can run that, and I see hello world under CSL console, and there is another console with the other information prefixed with timestamp. Okay, stop. So now we will save this work here under example hello simple. It's already saved once, but I save it once again. Well, and now we'll see the result here. Here. Okay. If I export now this project under simple, I will see the generated files here, those two, and I pick up this one, this shell, and I will run it. So it will run in a standalone mode, and we will see exactly the same. Hello world in our console and the other console. Okay, stop. Now, if we go back here to CSL and remove this standard console, just that way, okay. The declaration of the standard console disappeared. Here we see our hello world and no standard console anymore. Okay, I export that once again with a short key, Control E, and here it was exported now, and I run it again, and exactly the same result. We see our hello world under CSL and nothing else. So that's it for this simple example. Now let's go one step beyond. Here we have one project with one file, hello CSL, CLP. I'll rename it that way, and I add a new file. I call it hello2. And here, this underlying structure, I put it in a flat way here. The scenario is extracted from the meta scenario, but it's still associated to it with this reference. And here we see the source with two blocks. The first one is the meta scenario, and the second one, the scenario containing all the rest, and with this reference to meta scenario. Okay, so now I do the following: cut and paste here. And now we see in the first file we have only the meta scenario, and the second file contains the rest. Okay, so now if you run that, nothing will happen because the meta scenario doesn't contain anything else. So stop. What we have to do is to declare a port here, let's say 4500. Let's add again our standard console to see what happens. Log. And don't forget foreground and background color. Okay. Okay. So now, if we run that, we see on the console the process is listening on this port. And that means we will be able to send something to this port. And that's what we will do. Here we say send the content of this file to this port. And it will be deployed and executed, and we see the result. Stop. We save that under hello with deployment. Hello. Okay. And now we also can see the result of our save. And if we export all that this way under with deployment, we see what was generated here. Some two files here, bin folder, and a kind of starter here, which is a kind of cockpit allowing us to run the whole stuff. Like this. So here you see it's listening on the port, and if we trigger this one, this button, it sends the file content and it will be deployed, and we see the result, hello world. Okay, so that means it can run in a standalone mode. Okay, now let's do the same, but using an encryption file. We just retrieve our project with the two files here, but we add some encryption here, decryption for the receiver, and encryption for the sender. So the decryption it's the same file in our case, so I choose it here. This one, okay, it's called mycrypter, And if I just declare that under resources block and use library, just once again go through my folder to find a bin folder, and here that means my crypto file will be recognized. Of course, I can also use a jar file. And here in the heap, I will just reference my resources. Okay, I start that now. And we see the same. We are listening. Okay. And if we send that without encryption, nothing happens. We have a bad request. It was not interpreted correctly. And if we send with encryption, it was quite good. We received our hello world. So now I will save that under hello with encryption. Call it also hello. Okay. And I will also export it here. And now we will see the result. On the other side, let's go to the right folder here. In principle, we got exactly the same output as here. If I start now this F starter from here, I will see my new cockpit, which I just shut down this one. Now I start it, and here we see we will use encryption. It works. So we see hello world. It's all fine. I stop it. Now with what we see here, we use my crypter, and here we use default cryption. If we now combine the both, let's say this cockpit is sending without encryption, and this cockpit can send with encryption. If I run my process with a decryptor and I send a file without encryption, nothing happens. And if I use this one, of course, in that case, it happens. Okay. So I think that's interesting. We didn't write any line of code, and we have some complex process running. I hope it made you curious enough to learn more about it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.